Hi there everybody, welcome back to Prestige Auctions. It's auction aftermath time again. This was for auction 15th of February, the day after Valentine's Day of course, and the auction kind of panned out and the viewing exactly the way I expected it to. I thought on Valentine's Day we might get a few people down here because not everyone sits at home being all lovey-dovey, do they? And they didn't. They come down for the viewing, but I must say it wasn't as busy as it normally is. And I think there's a lot of reasons for this. We noticed in the week that the sneak peek figures were down with sort of 400 and 500 viewers. So you sort of head into that middle of the month time, people haven't got as much money kicking around and people are planning other things. So we thought maybe it's going to be a bit quieter this week. However, as it goes, the auction day ended up being really, really busy, which was really good. So we kind of looked and thought commission bids were down. Not everybody was going to be buying lots of stuff, and it was a quiet taste this week. We cleared a 17-room house that had a hell of a lot of older stuff in it, but a lot of it was quite well worn, damaged in places. And then to make things worse, of course, it got quite damp. It had been stood empty for 9 years. So when it came to the things, you know, there was going to be a bit of quiet taste, but as it goes, the auction room itself ended up being quite busy indeed. So we had a new thing this week. Of course, we started selling hot dogs in the coffee shop, which went down really well, and they were really good. So if you are in at Prestige, do get a go on one of those. Anyway, so let's have a look at the auction that was, and here we go. We started off at lot number 1 with this thing here, this fire truck. Now, normally, anyone that follows Prestige Auctions will know that these normally make 40, 50, even £60. But if you look there, and this is what you've got to be careful of in auctions, bit of a wonky wheel. Can you see it's just slightly offline there? Now, people would have picked up on this. So why didn't it make as much money as normal? Well, because of that. If you buy it, you've got to do something to it. It's not easily resaleable. You've got to work on it. So if you take these things into consideration when you are buying and selling, because they can make a huge difference. We move on to glassware, and this chicken here, this chicken or cock or whatever it was, you know, nice colours, nice glass. I thought that was going to do better than it did. So again, somebody walked away with a bargain on that one as well. First surprise of the day, or maybe not so much of a surprise, this was a nice thing. Well, as soon as I spotted this during viewing, I thought that's a nice piece, that one. And I think that one made about £60. Again, dealers were after that one. So there must have been something about it. The big horse lamp there had a little bit of damage on its hoof there. Still sold, you know, so somebody still fancied that. Things like the boxes this week, boxes of cassettes and things, they weren't doing as well as they had been. Top trumps, I bought those for the challenge this week. See if we can make a few pounds on those. We'll be giving you challenge updates on this week's podcast, by the way, because you've not had them for 2 weeks. While Chris has been holidaying, decorative stuff was selling well yesterday. So stuff like this, decorative bottles and things that, you know, people can actually use in the properties. And then we came to these fantastic fish. Now, these fish that were sort of made quite popular by companies like Murano and things back in the day, these were nice because they were so colourful. If you look at the colours on these, that, you know, you could sit them on a shelf or in a display cabinet and they would look quite nice. A lot of them are quite bland colours. Bit surprised that this didn't do a little bit more money. This clock radio here had the full clock on the top, because where are you going to find another like that? You just don't see them. So again, probably could have done a bit better, but again, somebody got a bargain. There was a bit of a fight on for one or two of the, or certainly the first of the telescopes there. Trolls all sold, that's good. The Grumpy mug sold as well. Pete bought the doll, that one there. The Resident Boat Buyer bought that one for £3 and then donated it to Dave. And as we come down here, see, this is where I think people need to listen and understand. If you've got a house to clear or you've got things that you're getting rid of, this kind of stuff here. So we're talking this sort of stuff. Boxes of nets and voiles, boxes of fabric, boxes of tie-backs and things like that, and old bedding and towels and things that are new especially. People tend to shut these away or donate them or whatever. Get them to the auction room. Make yourself some money. People are buying this sort of thing in the auction. Even these yesterday were selling, the old blank videos, because people are looking for this sort of stuff. And of course, they're looking for the content within them as well. If somebody taped something from years ago that might be interesting to somebody, they can do something with that. Thing I was a little bit disappointed with, but I kind of get why, was the dresses. Now, this sort of dress collection was a hell of a dress collection, and you can see that some money back in the day, in the 70s or so, would have been spent on these. However, you leave clothing stood up in a house that's been empty for 9 or so years, that's got damp issues, it's going to affect the saleability of the items within it, because everything has a tainted smell to it. So, and these aren't the sort of clothes that you can put through a washing machine. So the person that's bought these has now got to go away and probably get them dry cleaned, which is an add-on cost. So they only made sort of £5 each. You can see why. You've probably got another £20 add-on cost, then you've got to be able to sell them as well, assuming they don't fall to bits when they're cleaned. So there you go. We come on to these here then, and then we got the Disney stuff. Well, the Disney stuff, not top-end Disney, but it's sort of middle-of-the-road stuff, that these snow globes, but there was 2 or 3 people in the room that was after them. So they were doing anywhere sort of between 3, 4 and 5s, but the bulk of them were sort of in the 8s and 9s and £10 mark. So people were buying those. This one here was a nice surprise. This one came out of that house. You can see there, it's a little bit mucky. But it's a nice thing in its own right. It's very simple. It made about £60, I believe, in the auction, and there was another one coming up which did similar as well. Another one that was no big surprise. I really expected this to do a few quid. The Rolleiflex camera there, very good quality. You know, probably 700-800 quid for camera there. Did about £300 odd, but again, came from that same house, so it needs checking. It needs taking to bits. It needs checking out, making sure it's right. That's another add-on cost to the person that bought it, but I still think they'll do well. I still think there's a couple of £100 profit in that, even if you do get all that work done as well. There was then plenty of boxes of assorted CDs and things. Bit of a fight on for that coat as well. I think that did about 40 odd quid from what I remember. And then we got onto all the masks, which can be, you know, they're a bit acquired taste, but they always sell. Always sell. And then we got onto sort of where the cabinets are, and then we went through a load more Disney stuff again, which again, plenty of bidding for that. Then we got onto the Royal Worcester bits, and there was the Queen Elizabeth in a wedding dress, and then there was the Queen Elizabeth later on in a robe. Is it a coronation robe or something? And then Kate Middleton as well. Not see that one so often these days. And of course Princess Diana as well in their wedding dress. All attracting plenty of bids they were. So it's nice to see that. Jesus there, he sold, didn't make loads of money, but these old chalk figures. Here's the problem with them. Look if you see where the cursor is there, little white chips everywhere, because they were sort of chalk made, plaster made, and they just got damaged so easily. But they're from a time when lots of people had lots of religious items in their properties. They thought it was the thing to do. This one here, so let's talk a little bit about this. Hornsey Pottery. Of course, Hornsey, not too far away from where the auction room is in Grimsby. It's just over the water. Was a big thing, shut down many years ago. But what people are loving about the old Hornsey look, some of the patterns that they used, is it's very retro looking now. And as people are going for the retro look, these are the bits that they're buying. But what's it doing? It's increasing the price. So for years, the dealers have been buying these and putting them away, and now even they're struggling to be able to buy them because the bids are there in the room for them. Lots of bits of pottery and stuff, lots of interesting bits there that sold, and then we came on to the cabinets, costume jewellery, lots of bargains to be had here. I think there was probably something in there that was okay because that did a few quid as well. And as we came down here, we sold some coin sets, little bags of silver and stuff. Probably not as much money around for the silver this week as what there has been in previous weeks, which was a shame, but still did okay. Socks were selling quite well, brand new pairs of socks, and that one there, look at that old horn there, and that's been made into a fish lamp. Such a 70s look, that one. And then the old Betamax video there. Now again, as with all electricals in the auction, no guarantees, but this one was taken out of that house. It's been stood for many years, but that would have been a quality video recorder on Betamax back in the day and would have cost you a serious amount of money. Art stuff was selling well, the clock sold well. And then when it came to the pots here, these kind of pots in baskets. So, when you start looking at these were just making a few pound a basket. This is where you can really get into reselling and buying bits and bobs. Buying it cheap and selling it cheap to be able to make that little bit of extra cash if you're thinking of doing one of the challenges or something. As we came down here, sort of household electricals, there was money once again in the room for electricals, as in hi-fi. Lots of stacking systems and that were doing some money. So again, another thing. Don't chuck them away. Don't give them away. Bring them to Prestige Auctions. Let us get them sold for you. More electricals here. I quite liked that item there. Probably didn't do as much as I thought it was going to do, but again, 20 odd quid I think it was, and it's an old VHS portable video recorder, and again, you don't see those around so often, but it was in that house once again. So there was money for this as well, for this nice old picture there of the racehorse, and as we come down this way, the sun clocks all sold well. I think there's 40 odd pound for this from what I remember, and if you actually follow our members only page, this is one of the things that's going to be featured in one of our catalogue reviews that we do on there. So if you're not signed up to the members page, do help us out on this. It's only £2.99 a month. Sign up to YouTube members page, and it gives you extra videos that the normal general public don't get to see. We never will unless they join the members page, and we're doing it for a reason, not to make money. What we want to do is, if we can get 500 to 1,000 members, we can employ a cameraman and start showing you a hell of a lot more of the auction business, the clearance business and everything, but we've just not got the funds to be able to employ somebody to do it at the moment. If we can get all them people signed up for just £3 a month, it'll help us out massively, so do consider it. We come on to these, and then you had these lovely busts. Again, there was money in the room for those, 30-40 quid each I think, and then when you come down here, there was bargains. There was £3, £4 lots. You know, that was cheap. I thought that nativity scene there, again, buying stuff out of season, another big thing to do. Buy it out of season, make the money when it's popular again around Christmas time. It's not that long to wait. The Le Creuset, they did all right, even though they were old and sort of a little bit battered, but again, there was money for them because it's a good quality mate. The Snow Babies Christmas stuff all sold okay. A bit of a fight on for that as well. 3 or 4 people, well, 2 in particular, were bidding against that from what I remember. As we come down this way, we got onto the boxes of assorted and the stuff at the back of the room, and I know at some point here Lisa took over, I do believe, and she sort of took you through the middle of the room selling the sewing boxes and things. I wasn't in the room to watch it, so I don't know what it made, so I'm going to have to skip past what Lisa did, and we'll get into the back room where I took over somewhere in here, I do believe. Where is it? So all the books and stuff, some books were selling well somewhere. Books are very hit and miss though, by the very nature. Sometimes we do really well on them, and other times they struggle like hell. All depends on what genres they are, what titles they are, what condition they're in. Lots of things that will affect the price. So as we came down here, I think Lisa kind of finished, and then I started into the back room. So as we got onto the tools, all the tools and things, there was plenty of people sat in the room for the tools, but again, not many of them made much money. There was nothing super exciting. And of course, the gentleman that bought the gas there is the gentleman, if anyone was watching live yesterday or was in the room, it's the gentleman that lost his keys, bless him, and he was devastated. Anyway, he got them found. Larry found them. Well done, Larry. And everyone was happy once again. And the auction carried on. Anyway, Blue Roll, that was selling, and hose pipes were selling, Tilly lamps were selling, but again, not at loads of money, so there was bargains to be had once again in the back room. A lot of people that come into Prestige Auctions just don't go in that back room, and it's crazy because it's not always tools. If we've got overspill, anything can go in that back room. As you can see here, wicker baskets and things, and tools, and box tools. What have we got down here? We had boxed units there that people had never put up. The chimney pots were okay. Some were doing more money than others. I would assume that is all just down to condition, if there's a chip out of them or whatever. So it's usual sort of story. I couldn't do highest bidder text 1 or more because there were all different bids on them. As we come down here, we had, well, let's set that off there. We had more chimney pots. That one hadn't been painted, and that has been another thing that affected the price. And then here we had that nice little bistro table with 2 chairs. That sold for 40 odd pounds. Bit of a fight on for the wood chipper there in the garden, or the garden chipper. These were nice items. Look at these 2 hanging baskets there, quite older ones. Not as old as they look, though. A lot of these come from these import places, and they try to make them look a lot older than what they actually are. Bikes were quite brisk bidding for the bikes this week. There was some nice bikes in there, including some electric ones as well, including that little electric one at the end there. So people were bidding on those. All the plants sold as well, and then the hose pipe sold. Then we got onto the front table, and we got onto the gaming. Again, gaming wasn't as good as we've had in recent weeks. The normal bidders were in, so it just shows you that the standard wasn't there, and it didn't do as much money as normal. However, when we came down this way, you got onto the white goods. White goods, I think we had a washing machine made 80, 90 quid, something like that. And all of that eternal bow pottery there, I think that was 70, 80 quid as well. So lots of people after that one. Banji, let's just go back to that. Let's just look for a minute. So 70, 80 quid. Look how much stuff there is. There's everything you need to kit out your whole kitchen in there, with crockery and casserole dishes and bread bins and teapots and your rumpole jar. You name it, everything's there. There's even a clock. So in the same pattern. So we then got through all the white goods. They sold okay. And then, of course, the interesting bit to me this week was the furniture. And we got onto this telly, and I love this. People, if you was to take this away and sell it online, which is probably the best way you could have done this, because some prop company or whatever that's looking for setting up a scene for the 1970s, would probably love to have that. Similar to this as well. I mean, you can see in the back picture there, that's it with its top-down look, and then open it all up and look at that old record player. I mean, what a cool prop that would be in a television show or movie. Display cabinets sold okay, more display cabinets, and then the modern wardrobes didn't sell for that much money. That one didn't sell at the £200 reserve, and the reason being is the person that's put it in didn't leave the charger with it, so that kind of put people off. So if you are considering putting one of those in, put the charger with it. It does make a lot of sense. As we come down here, then we got to various items of furniture. Pine, of course, was selling well, as it normally does. That nice oak cabinet there sold, and this sold, that sold. The person that bought those was extremely pleased with the price they got them for, and as I've spoke to them this morning. And then when you come down this way, you've got bedside cabinets, more pine chest of drawers, dressing mirrors, all of these sold. Now that one didn't sell there, the cuddle chair or whatever they call it. I'm not sure if that's sold or not. And then as you come around here, you had a few bits of furniture that didn't sell in the auction this week, but we got to some of the interesting bits from the other house, which did sell. So these here, we started here, so the sort of Chesterfield effect stuff, and then the Chesterfield wingback chair there. These are always over £100, £150. I think that was £40-50, that one as well. And the reason being is that people really do like to buy this stuff. When you look at this one here, this is the carved wood table. Again, another sort of older piece, so lots of people interested in that one. When you come down this way, there was this chair here. That was quite a nice one. So a lot of these older pieces were selling quite well. I'm just hearing in the background that my grandchildren have just arrived. Anyway, so I best hurry this one up. So this one here, this was another nice chair. Sad thing was if you look there in the centre, some of the pens, the pegs and that were missing. Again, had they not been missing, I see this chair at £140, but it needed work. So anything that needs work is always going to sell for less money. The old sort of Asian plant stand there, again, not as old as it looks. It's trying to look a lot older than it actually is. You had the writing slab, not sure that that's sold. And then the chaise lounge. I mean, the chaise lounge, these used to take £150 every time. We struggled to sell that, but look at the state of it. So basically what you're buying is a frame. You're buying a frame there, and this is going to need completely recovering. That was the record player, and then as we came up towards the end of the sale, we didn't manage to sell the motorbike there. It didn't quite make the reserve, which was a shame, but there you go, that's the way it is. So that was the day at Prestige Auctions. Quite a busy day in terms of the room, lots of people, lots of bidding. Everyone seemed to enjoy themselves and have a good time. It's great when people come in and give us some feedback and the same things to us, like, I've really enjoyed coming to the auction, and it's the first time we've been and we'll be back again. It is a great place to come. So if you are just a casual YouTube watcher and you do like to watch these stuff on the auctions, get yourself down here one week. Make yourself known to us. It's a very friendly place. It's not like the ones you see on the telly. So there you go. Thank you everybody ever so much for watching this aftermath of yesterday's auction. Don't forget, if you did enjoy the content, to hit that thumbs up button, because it does help us out a lot. It does help our channel grow, and the more our channel grows, the more content we can give you in the future. So anyway, thank you ever so much for watching. Have a great week, and we'll see you all very soon at the auction.